Today, I will be speaking about product to platform, transformation and disruption mindset. I'll tell you one thing that will be very important in this session. If you're not prepared to actually move from wherever you are, I know that Bio spoke a lot about different businesses. I don't speak a lot about different businesses. I speak about how a simple business can be a multi-billion-dollar solution. So if you're not exactly prepared for that, this might not be your best session. But if you're prepared to actually move away beyond what you've always known, beyond the average business ideas that you have been used to, then this might be the greatest session for you. About 4 years ago, I was going to speak somewhere, and I put up a post that if it's not a potential billion-dollar idea, I wouldn't be on the table. For me, that's my own mindset. And that's who I have been, right? I understand everything about what Bio said, right? I understand that's the start. Because, of course, if you're going to build a multi-billion-dollar business, you have to start from somewhere. I looked at Nigeria, and I see easily that we don't have those multi-billion-dollar businesses. And I can't get it. Nigeria today has about 240 to 250 million people. Canada has just around 40 million people. That's a significant fraction. But out there, you'll be talking about multiple multi-billion-dollar solutions. Now, the challenge is not that, oh, we have a lot of poor people. There are poor people in Canada. I mean, tomorrow I'm going to get on a plane off to Canada. So I can tell you, very, 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 very badly poor people. That's not the situation. The issue is the mindset that we have. And today I'm going to speak a lot about that. And hopefully, someone in this room will be part of a product down the line that would eventually be a multi-billion-dollar business. I would also tell you some story about what we have done. I'll tell you some of my own personal story, right? I'll bring all of this into it. So I hope you're going to have your pen. I hope you're going to have your notepad and take some things down. I'll try to get really personal, right, as we move forward. I am not teaching. So for me, I didn't get a memo that it was supposed to be a session to teach. The memo I got was that it was supposed to be a session for me to speak to you and hopefully spark some conversations, spark some thoughts, right, in you. And at the end of this session, I'm going to be asking you, so what do I expect at the end of today? I expect some folks to be able to say to me that, hey, I want to go back and rethink the way we do products. I want to go back and rethink the way we approach solutions. I want to go back and rethink the way I run business. My assumption is that folks here today are either product managers, product owners, scrum masters, agile leaders, portfolio leaders, or founders. So because of that, I decided to get it started from $1 million because I assume that you're either an employee around a business that is already somewhere in that neighborhood, or I assume that you're a founder, right, and you want to put yourself around that neighborhood. So it's relatively easy to find yourself around $1 million. What could be very difficult is actually to break beyond $1 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million. You could still play around those areas, right? All those businesses, like the coffee business, like the, different kinds of businesses, you could still play around $1 million, $5 million, and $10 million. But what you don't see often in Nigeria, in Africa, is multi-billion-dollar products. Today, we don't have any that is above $3 billion. But my hope is that today we're going to start a conversation, and 2 years down the line, I can come back to have a conversation with you about how we are beginning to challenge the multi-billion-dollar situation that we have ourselves in. Before I move forward, let me just introduce myself to you a little bit. So my name is Idowu. I'm the chair and group president of Voyatech Group. Voyatech Group is a group of companies with 8 different companies. About three of them are core tech solutions. One of them is into trainings and consulting. And of course, the rest of them are technically specialized travel businesses. I have also I've supported multiple large corporations in the world, very large corporations. Some of them are Fortune 200 companies. I've trained thousands of product managers, product owners, Scrum Masters, portfolio leaders. I've trained and coached across the world. Today, I'm not necessarily going to be teaching. I'm hoping I'm going to be having conversations. Let's get things started. Now, the first question I would want to ask is, what is a product? Like, Bayo did some justice when he said something that a lot of folks actually assume that a product is tech inclined. A product could be anything. The chair is a product. I wasn't very comfortable sitting in it, so I wish I saw the product manager behind it. I would have given some feedback, right? The table is a product. You see this that you're seeing here, it's not bringing out the quality, right? There's a lot of overexposure, right? This is a product. The light here is a product. How the light here actually works together with this, right, forms a product. This event is a product, right? Whatever that thing is that would add value to people is a product. Now, the question is, what is value? Value could be a solution to me and money to Niger, right? It's a product, right? So it doesn't have to be money to Nigel. If it's not solving my own problem, then it's not a product, right? So long as it's adding value across board, then you consider it a product. It doesn't have to be just tech. We're going to use some examples here today, random examples, and we're going to create multi-billion-dollar ideas right here today, right? From anything. Could be maybe from his shoes. Maybe we're going to use your shoes, or could be anything. We're going to create potential multi-billion dollars ideas right here today and play them out, and you will be able to tell me whether you agree that they're actually potential multi-billion dollars. So how do we get there? What exactly are we talking about today? We're talking about product to platform. Why the idea or the concept of product to platform? Because, of course, if you want to move from that $1 million product, right, see, there's this abuse of fintechs. I mean, it gets me really upset, right? If you ask the 7 or 8 out of 10 founders today that what are you trying to build is fintech, like, are you kidding me? There are multiple things you could do and you build multi-billion dollars. Multiple. You could sell shoes. We're going to use the shoes today to actually create multi-billion dollar potentials. You could sell glasses. You could sell anything and create multi-billion dollars out of it. You need to run away, first of all, from the abuse of fintech in Nigeria because there's money around it. We need to open our minds. Perhaps that's part of the things we're going to achieve today. So, products to platform is the beginning of the conversation. Now, we said product is that thing that solves problem. Is that single vertical solution that solves a single problem potentially. Single vertical. So if you ask how do you make money, they tell you this way, I make money from this. Potentially one stream, 2 streams, right? Single vertical, just one space. A vertical, right? A product. But we want to build something that is multi-billion dollars. We want to move away, first of all, from products and move to platform. Now, I will first walk you through a couple of examples of product to platform, right, before we now begin to break it down. I'll try as much as practicable to cover virtually every single thing that I want to talk about. Now, let's look at BlackBerry and Apple. Interestingly, Bayo, who just finished speaking, spoke about BlackBerry as well. I will be able to speak thoroughly about BlackBerry because about 10 years ago, one of my businesses was actually the biggest partner of BlackBerry in Nigeria. So I've had that very close collaboration with BlackBerry. In fact, with brokering a deal for BlackBerry with the Lagos State government, right? I've had conversations even with the CEO of BlackBerry, right, in 2017. He came to Nigeria and all of that. We took him around, tried to get deals for him and all of that. Now, BlackBerry is a product. You know, Bayo was speaking about PIN. You know, then PIN was the biggest deal. So you're chasing a girl around, right? All you're after is getting a PIN, right? You just need a girl's PIN, right, so that you can start some conversations. You know, Bayo said some people will not relate. It's actually really possible. But people were protesting when he said some people will not be able to relate, right? Because the old thing about PIN, I think, ended around 2016. Yeah, so if you're in this room, you've not started using a phone in 2016, maybe 2016, 2017. I think it was till around 2017. If you've not started using a phone in 2017, then I don't think we should have anybody here anyway. So you guys should know about BlackBerry and PIN. Now, BlackBerry built a really beautiful product. One thing that was important to BlackBerry in their product was the exclusivity, the class. And BlackBerry never joked with that. When we began to talk with them about opening up the platform, so we used BlackBerry, we used the BBM solution in BlackBerry, right? They had a channel. So we're using that channel to actually drive customers, right? We use it as a base, and we're the biggest in Nigeria. We're the biggest for news partnership in the whole of Africa with BlackBerry back then. They had a beautiful product, but it was just a product. It was a single vertical product. Now, some people will say WhatsApp disrupted BlackBerry. I don't quite agree. Of course, I know the disruption, right, that WhatsApp brought. But you know the folks that really killed BlackBerry completely? Apple and Android. Do you know why? These folks built a product. They wanted to control every single thing. That's Nigerian. Control. So the first thing you need to learn today, to understand, is to throw away the idea of control. When you're talking about multi-billion dollars, you don't need to have the absolute control. They wanted control. They wanted to control the customers. They wanted to control their space. They wanted to control their products. But Apple and Android said no. You know what they came with? It wasn't a product or just a product. They came with a platform. A platform that gave their product to the people to control. Can you see the difference? These folks controlled everything. The customers were theirs. So let's begin to think now about that product you're currently working on. Why do you want to build a product that will just be $1 million or $2, $3, $4 million? I don't care if you say, oh, why? It's because you've got some money. That's what some people will be saying right now. That's not the idea. The mindset starts from even before you build. Starts from even before you build. What do you want to build? So these folks built a product that was handed over to the people where they allowed other people to come into their product. So Apple, to you, is probably a phone. Apple, to me, is a platform where I deploy my solutions. Right? Apple, to another person, to a developer, is a different platform on its own again. Apple, to some other folks, is where they make money. So the people allow them to say to you what the product is to them. BlackBerry told us what their product was. Are you seeing the difference? On Apple, I can deploy my product, you can deploy yours, you can deploy yours, she can deploy hers. Why? Because it's a platform. And guess what? So Apple will allow you to deploy all your products Do you know how much Apple charges? 30 goddamn %. So now imagine, Apple built a platform that enables different people to deploy their products. Rather than they making 100% on a single vertical, they are making 30% on billions of transactions that happen on their platform per day. Today, would you be wondering why Apple is $3 trillion? And do you know how much BlackBerry is? In the coffin. Product to platform. Let me tell you something. Some of you would argue that, oh, but we have some businesses in Nigeria today that are single vertical, that are just a product, they're not platforms, they don't have that community network effect, and they are probably $500 million, they are potentially $1 billion, they are $200 million. Why they are very successful, give them time. Part of why they are probably as successful is because disruption has not happened yet, number one. Number two, they're probably first movers. So they're still enjoying the benefit of first movers. But will they be sustainable in the market? Platform will make it happen eventually. Just think about those multi-billion-dollar solutions. Think about Meta. Think about Apple. Think about Google. Platform. That's what it is. I'll move on to my next slide. I'll show you another interesting thing. Who scaled faster? Marriott. In 2 years from now, Marriott will be a century old. Airbnb is just 17 years old. Look at the difference. Marriott in 2 years will be a century old. Airbnb is just 17 years old. Marriott has thousands of buildings, hotel buildings across the world. Very intensive capital injection with a lot of franchises, structures to manage franchise. Airbnb, you know how many buildings they have? 0. In 17 years, they are $10 billion richer in valuation. In valuation. $10 billion. Do you know why? These guys own the products. But these guys, they own a platform. I have houses or properties here on Airbnb. Do I know the owners of Airbnb? I don't. And I have my own customers. And I would define how I want to control my market the way I define it. So what myself and my wife, we're currently reviewing how we can create a brand on Airbnb. We are defining how we use Airbnb. We will drive our own people to Airbnb and make our own money from it. Why? It's a platform. For as long as I make money, do you know how many people I've encouraged to go on Airbnb? Very many friends. What's that? Because it's a community, right? I am driving people to go on there. And Airbnb will continue to increase in valuation. Let's look at the next very interesting case here. Tesla. Now, again, I've spoken a lot about product and platform, but I'll say something a little bit different about Tesla. Guys, let's look at this very interesting thing. Tesla right now is $1 trillion in valuation. $1 trillion. But guess what? You see all those other products you know these products already. They are super popular. Some of them are over 100 years old. All of them combined, they are less than half the valuation of Tesla. Tesla is 22 years old. In fact, the real product development of Tesla started in 2010, after the bankruptcy threat. So that means the real development for Tesla has been in the last 15 years. But guess what? These guys, all of them combined, they are not worth half the value of Tesla. Now, I know some of you will argue that Tesla genuine valuation is not up to $1 trillion. Nobody cares. the valuation of a product or a business is in the perception of the investors. Nobody cares. Are they worth $1 trillion right now? Yes. Why? I'm sure you say because it's electric, they came with something new. No. It's not just that. When you buy your Mercedes, the business terminates. Once you buy, that's it. When you buy your Ford, your Toyota, are you still paying Toyota? No. But guess what, guys? The moment you buy your Tesla, that is the beginning of business. Their self-driving solution is what? Subscription-based. I wish I could speak in tongues. It's subscription-based. Right? So they continue to make money. Right now, they are now introducing some further integrations. Multimedia integrations, Netflix integration, games. So that carton-like product that you see is just the beginning. The real value of Tesla is in the platform that Tesla is. You are now thinking of that idea. You are thinking of just opening one store somewhere. Come on, folks. Wake up. You are thinking of the next fintech. They're now asking you, so what will you do? You now say it will help people to make payments. Imagine, we'll be getting commission. Some of those $500 million businesses today in fintech, I'm not targeting anyone, right? If they were starting tomorrow, they wouldn't enjoy that valuation. Fintech is just a single vertical, like this, boom. Why are we all fixated? So you need to begin to rethink when you want to produce, when you want to create, when you want to develop the next product. That product that you're actually working around right now, you need to start asking new questions about what you have. Why are you dominating it? Why are you scared of letting go of control? Give it to the people. Now, I said I was going to tell a little bit of my own story. I'll show you something that we have done. How you can actually create a platform. The next slide, please. Now, this is Gopaddi. This is a product. Gopaddi is going to market in a few days, by the way. Am I allowed to sing a little bit of song about it? Why not? I'll say it's an ingenious solution. Why? What was the thinking behind Gopaddi? Product to platform. We have been running a travel agency for 8 years. And we thought, no, this is not going to get us past 20, 40, 30, $50 million. That's not what we want. We want to build a platform and be $20 billion valuation, 30, 40, 50, and even more. Let's stop the idea of this single vertical thing and get crazy. So we put money into this, millions of dollars, to build this. So what is this? It's a simple app. To you, the user, probably a unique social networking app for travels, where you post your photos and videos, but there's a marketplace there, where you can find all travel agencies. You can engage them and do business with them. They can process your visa for you, and you get a real-time notification as they're opening their file, your file, in their office. So you get visibility into what they do. It doesn't end there. You want to book a hotel. Why do we have to use 200 different platforms to get a simple thing done? You can book all kinds of hotels that you want to book right there. I'll tell you where the platform is. You want to book a table at a restaurant. You find the restaurants there and book your table. A nightclub, you find it there. You want to buy all the drinks that you want to buy before you go to the nightclub? Do it right there on the application. You want to book, pay for your menu at a restaurant, do it right there. You want to plan a trip with your friend, you guys can collaborate on the application, and both of you are dropping comments on the deck. You can split bills. You can do all of that. Now, guess what? How is it a platform to us? And you will tell me if it's a potential billion-dollar solution? Every single transaction, Gopaddi has a cut in it. If you must know, billions of naira actually happens around travel and tourism on daily basis. It doesn't end there. Corporations, companies, MTN, Zenith Bank, can now collaborate on a deck with the travel agency that is managing them. On the same deck. And all the transactions that the corporation will actually be pushing out, Gopaddi gets a cut in it. So just help me to imagine, rather than you run a travel agency, right? And whatever amount of money you make, I don't care. You make $10 billion profit, 10 billion naira profit a year, whatever. You are very successful. But guess what? You have 100,000 travel agencies. You have 120,000 hotels. You have 80,000 corporations. An average corporation will spend an average of $1 billion to $3 billion per annum. And you're getting just 5% of that. You are enabling them and making life good. That is a platform. You're not competing with anyone. I was talking to Bayer and I was like, no. I said, we're not competing with you. Don't worry. It's enabling you, not competing. MTN wants to deal with you. They will prefer to deal with you on that platform because the deck is transparent. And you have all the tools to manage every single thing you want to manage. Now, those companies will pay MRR, monthly recurring revenue. Agencies will pay in MRR. You get commission in transactions. You're not talking about $100 million. You're not talking about 500. You're not talking about $1 billion. And this is not Nigerian. This is in Ghana. Will be in Congo, in Kenya, in Canada, in the US, in Asia, in Europe. Your travel agency would have been in Nigeria. Maybe you take it to Ghana, maybe you take it to Rwanda, but not everyone would actually want to buy. Your travel agency is single vertical. And this was the reason we decided to make that shift. This took a lot to build and millions of dollars to make happen. I'm not saying you should go and spend millions of dollars. Right? I can decide to also spend. Just like Bayer said, that he will spend. And no, it's not working. And then he pulls back. Right? So I'm not saying you should go and spend millions of dollars. But what my point is, move away from product to platform. Do you know the meaning of this? The meaning of this is those corporations would drive people to come on the platform. The meaning of this is those agencies will bring people to come on the platform. The meaning of this is people, you will bring your friend to come on the platform because you want to plan a trip together and you want to collaborate on the deck that both of you will have access to. And your product over to people to drive for you. Next slide, please. Now, how do you make the leap? You see, I've been talking a lot about product to platform. I've spoken about BlackBerry and Apple, spoken about Airbnb and Marriott, spoken about all of them. Now, the question is, how do you make that happen in your own organization? With that product that you're building, with the product that you're managing, with the product that you own, what are the things that you should do? The first one is the mindset. The mindset. You know what I said I put up 4 years ago? If it's not a potential billion-dollar idea, you won't find me on the table. End of story. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't share that idea with me. If you do, I will make sure we collaborate until your idea becomes a potential $1 billion before I'll be part of it. I'll make sure we collaborate to take that idea away from, it's everybody makes $1 million and $500,000, $100,000, $5 million. That's not the idea. Why should we maintain that mindset of just being there, being average? Fortunately, I'm not interested in that. Agility. See, a lot of people, when they hear agility, what they think about is Scrum. I just hate that idea. Agile is from the portfolio leaders. It's from the top. Agile is the mindset with which your organization is running. In my organization, if I work at 6 p.m., I'll be wondering why. 5 p.m., why? We were having a pen testing session over the weekend with some pen testers from I already mentioned, Stanbic IBTC, I don't care. Right, with some pen testers from a bank, and they were like, oh, yesterday was very tough, where I worked till 9 p.m. I said, that would never happen in my organization. Like, what the hell are you doing? Why you work till 9 p.m.? That's efficiency problem. You are working till 9 p.m., like it doesn't make sense. After 4:30, whatever you are doing is efficiency problem. I'm not telling you something that is strange. I have my people here. After 4:30, whatever you're doing, you know why? Because your work is planned to capacity. The amount of work you're going to do is planned to capacity. So the business is not operating on false capacity. If you don't plan the work, the demand to capacity, then you'll be operating on false capacity, forcing people to work the extra hours. Agility is from the top. It's not just about scrumming it. You can scrum without being agile. Agility is from the mindset. I'll move on to the next slide. Please, someone should remind me how we can turn shoes to $1 billion product. Right? We're going to do it before we leave. Network effect. When you're trying to create that $1 billion solution, one thing should be in your mind, network effect. And how do you do the network effect? Make sure that your product is driving a community. If it's not community driven, you don't have a $1 billion solution yet. For me, I will stand back. I won't be part of it. Make sure your product is people owned. So one of the questions you may be asking, ask your product manager, ask your portfolio leaders, how can we make this people owned? If it's not people owned, then you are still struggling with your journey to $1 billion. I'll show you an ancient American saying. Some people confuse it to be Chinese saying. Tell me and I will forget. Teach me and I may remember. Involve me and I'll learn. Let your customers learn your vision. They will drive it for you. How do you make them learn it? Involve them in that product. Let your customers be the ones carrying your product on their head. TikTok today, people are dying. Tap, 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 tap. That's what you hear. They are driving TikTok. And guess what? More people, oh, really? You made 5,000. TikTok is expanding. Guys, until you do that, you're not on the path to $1 billion solution. Next slide. Technology and AI, efficiency, limitless possibilities. You know what AI can do for you? We are putting the product to market in just a few days from now, maybe about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, thereabout. With that product, you can tell the AI, hey, Paddy, I have a visa interview tomorrow. Guide me through it. And then Paddy will support you with it. Don't worry. I've used it myself. You can tell, hey, Paddy, book a ticket for me on Waka Now. I'm saying Waka Now because Bayer is at the back. So if he wasn't at the back, I'll book a ticket for me on Waka Now, and AI does it for you in seconds. Hey, Paddy, I'm going to France What's the weather like? AI does it for you. Efficiency. Travel agencies can actually make 100 calls to customers without a single human being picking a phone to make the call. AI. Reduce the number of people you hired. Use them somewhere else. I'm not saying fire people because some people will get up and go home, right? And some will be angry, right? Reduce the number of people you hire. Use them on something a lot more efficient. Get better results. If you are not integrating AI into what you're building, you are in the past, you are not on your path to $1 billion. Just take that simply. Next slide. Engineering process design, predictability over speed. I'll just quickly rush through this. Something I hear very, very often is, oh, we want to move fast, we want to move fast. Nobody cares about you moving fast. Product managers in the room, what you should be thinking about is being predictable, not moving fast. There are two different things. Predictability is how much you can deliver on what you promised. Today, you think it's just by mouth that now investors are moving back to Nigeria. It's because of the predictability in the economy. Forget about the things you are reading on social media. Predictability, the stability in FX is what is attracting those investors. What your business need, please take note of this. A predictable organization is a bankable organization. Do you know why that? Do you know why? When you tell a customer that you will get this at X time, and the customer gets it at that time, the customer will pay you upfront next time. That's bankability. When you use that statement, just make sure you give credit. When you tell investors that we need $10 million to get XYZ done, and we're going to make $20 million. Do you know what predictability means? That you delivered between $19 and $21 million. If you go back to that investor to ask for $25 million, will you get it? But if you delivered $8 million, and you say, my grandfather, my great-grandmother, they had a fight, and because of that, Jesus now came down and opened one door, and they all went to hell, you don't get money again. That's bankability. Now, I'll show you something. This is a Gopaddi culture, right? Alignment for predictability. If you can see this screen very well, there are 9 different engineering teams. You can see the connection in every single thing that these folks are delivering. This is how we work and how we built about 10 different products in just about 11 months. And my product owners will say, AY, you know what? Right now, I feel like I have 25-year experience. I feel like I have 25-year experience. Why? How were we able to build about 10 different products in a single ecosystem in a space of 11 months? Don't just go and try it. You see that 11 months that I said? We've been trying to build for 4 years. We invested right now, maybe about $1.4 million. We failed. But me, I'm very dogged. We have failed, there'll be no problem, go again. Do we believe in what we're building? Yes, end of story. As of February last year, we had spent about $450,000. And we failed. Go again. But be predictable. Predictability will help you to plan appropriately, right? Alignment will help you to plan appropriately. You can align every single thing that you want to do together. So from day one, you know what the future looks like already. Right now, Gopaddi has about 12 engineering teams. And these folks are moving like a train. When you're building a potential billion-dollar solution, put your mind on predictability and think about how you want to align your multiple ideas together. Now, we move on to revenue models. Please pay attention. I don't care how good you're already doing that product. If you don't have an MRR model, there's a problem. And what is MRR? Monthly recurring revenue. Recurring or annual recurring revenue. So one question you should be asking your product manager right now is MRR. And what does that do for you? It helps you with predictability with your investors. It helps you to also plan. You need to make sure that whatever you're building, if you're building potential $1 billion, I don't care how much revenue you're getting right now. It could be for multiple reasons, of multiple factors. Build an MRR system. Then your original business plan will be based on your MRR or your ARR. You see the other revenue that was good already before will be an additional. So when you want your CapEx, will be your OpEx, that's your operating cost, will be on your MRR. You plan around that. It's predictable. And let me tell you something, little secret. When investors come and they want to value your business, when you have MRR, it's super easy. They just do multiples of what your industry, what's obtainable in your industry. In tech, it used to be multiples of 10. But right now, it's a struggle between multiples of 4, 5, 6, thereabout. They just do multiples. And then they now look at your other revenue, right, and factor it in the case of cash flow. But it's pretty easy. Do you know what we said about Tesla? That their current valuation is the perception of the investors. When you have MRR, you expand investors' potential perception. Freemium. Something happened to me, just a few days ago. The hotel that I've been using for about 3 years, right? I never knew they had a suite in it, right? So I booked on Sunday, and was it Sunday? Whatever. I booked a few days ago, and the room, I thought I was using the best of the rooms. The room that I booked was fully booked, and then they said, oh, we'll upgrade me. Why are you insulting me now? Have I not been using the best of your rooms? I said, no, we'll upgrade you to a suite for now, just for today. And I got into that suite, and I was like, damn it, how have I been sleeping in that other one? And I just called immediately, in fact, it wasn't up to 2 minutes. I just called the reception. How come I've been here 3 years? You guys never told me about this. Right? And I said, let me know the cost of this, right? And apply my partnership discount. This is what I will be using moving forward. What does that mean? Freemium. Give them free. A little bit of experience. Let them experience it. I wish I could talk like Jennifer, but. Right? And then they have an idea of what it is, and they can get even more. Marketplace fees and commission. These are your revenue streams. I don't care the kind of business you're running. Build this into it. If you have not built this into it, you are still not at that potential multi-billion. Look, I'm not talking about potential $1 billion. I'm talking about potential multi-billion dollar. We need to spark that conversation. Next slide. Now, a question I would ask is, how would you scale your product and challenge yourself to go beyond boundaries? You know, remember I said I'll use his shoes. We just wanted to use something random, right? And then I will use his shoes. Interestingly, Bayo spoke about selling shoes. So maybe I'll speak with Bayo later today. We'll go back to selling the shoes together, right? Because I want to discuss how you can sell his sneakers and build potential multi-billion-dollar solution out of just selling shoes. So what do? If I want to build potential multi-billion-dollar out of it, remember all the things we've talked about. Remember the community part that we've talked about. Hand the product over to the people. Let the people define how to use it. I won't buy the shoes. I won't order them from Japan or China or America, from anywhere. I won't do that. You know what I'll do? I'll just get the store, the infrastructure, right? And I'll get different people that sell shoes to plug into my system. Now, I'll show you the crazy thing in this. I'll get the different people that sell shoes to plug into my system. Now, what does that mean? The whole stress of buying the shoes, the stress of customs and all that, you are taking it off. You are going light so you can move faster. You're going light so you can move faster. So what happens when you do that? It will be easier for you to scale. Multiple people are bringing their shoes in, right? They are bringing it into the store. You are not concerned about all of that, and they are contributing to the cost of the infrastructure itself. Because you don't have to bother about all of that, you can actually easily just scale to Ibadan, to Kano, to Kaduna, to Ghana, to Rwanda, to Kenya, to the US, to Canada. And guess what you are taking? Commission from the multiple people that are selling shoes in your store. Not just shoes, the people that sell cleaning agents for shoes. They are also in your store. And you're getting commission. So rather than you just selling, because you're moving light, you're not buying the shoes. The stress is limited. And for them too, for everywhere you move to, they will come to you. Why? They're also moving light. They're just bringing the shoes. They are not interested in the infrastructure, in the policies, in the system, in the process. You're moving light. And then you're taking commission across multiple cities. Go and check the story of Walmart. One last thing that I would just say to you. Okay, well, Gopaddi, I already spoke about this. There's one thing I would say that is extremely critical. And please, if you're not going to write anything down, please bring out your pen and your paper. I'm done already. It's the most critical thing that you need to write and go home with it. Next slide, please. Thank you. Is it not the most important thing? So I'll be more than happy to take questions, maybe 2, maybe 3, if I can take. Sam, can I take 2 questions? 2, 3 questions, folks?
My thought is, do you think that platform way of thinking, is it something we need to have from the get-go when we want to start a business, or is it something that is coming naturally? What I mean is that from the beginning, probably we are just trying to build one product, one successful product.
Yeah.
And as far as we're growing and
Yeah.
things are being validated and working on the market, probably it's, scaling.
Yeah.
And now we can get a platform.
Yeah.
But do you think that it's a good way to think for a startup or someone who is starting a new business from the get-go to think of a platform, something that is huge, a lot of uncertainties, and,
Okay, my answer to you, thank you very much. I've heard that a lot, right? And my answer to you will be, because a lot of folks that we model, they are accidental entrepreneurs, right? When I say accidental entrepreneurs, those things just happened, right? It wasn't like it was planned. Meanwhile, we have other folks also that we model that actually clearly planned. The question will be, what is scale to you? What is large to you? For example, if someone asks me about Gopaddi, that, hey, this is a platform, it's huge. Can I afford to build it? Yes, that's why I built it, right? So what is scale? What is large to me? You would think that, oh, I've built everything, but I've not built 10%. I don't know if you're getting my point. I've not built 10% of it. I'm still building fintech on it. I'm still building Airbnb style solution on it. Right? These are things that are coming in 2 years, coming in 1 year, coming in 3 years. There are multiple things that we're still going to put on it. So the question is, what is scale to you? What does large mean to you? What large means to you may be different from what large means to me. How we approach the vision may actually be completely different. And I'll also tell you one thing. What people also need to understand is, if you're not careful and you want to start, because some people you model who were accidental in the first place, right, decide with just one single one. You are in a highly competitive space. That's one. For example, I was speaking with Bio, and the first thing he said was, oh, if I'm with any other agency, I'm not doing it. Right? That means because Bio has made himself a lion. That's why he put lion after his name. So I just hope he will not be eating up all the other praise. Right? There are some folks that are so big already, right? And they may actually force you out of the market if they are too small and too tiny in the market. So why do you want to go into that space? Why don't you go the way of, let me enable them? I'm not competing with them, but I will enable them. And for you to enable them, you need to think from the platform perspective. Does that answer your question? All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate your time.
I think it's amazingly relevant. It's what this space needs right now. Speaking about innovation, about products, different products are springing up here and there right now, and it's important to actually be guided, right, with how these products are being developed, with the kind of mindset to use to approach with a process for building products. I think it's really amazing, and the audience has been great. The people that attended, you could see the impact on them, especially with questions that they're also asking. People want to really know more, they want to learn better, they want to potentially apply it to their daily life. And I've got a number of people that have actually spoken with me after the session. And for me, that's the most important, when people come back to you and tell you about how your session has inspired them, tell you about how they want to try to go and apply some of the things that they've learned from you. I think that's the exceptional part of it.